So, after running the MCU into the ground since after Endgame in 2019, Disney Marvel are pinning all of their hopes on turning the franchise around with Avengers Doomsday, specifically with the return of Robert Downey Jr. as Doctor Doom, though I think he'll also be playing some version of Tony Stark as well. This is, after all, a messy multiverse movie. The multiverse, of course, is the cheap plot device that allows you to effectively break the rules of the universe, undo any events, like, for example, bringing dead characters back to life by taking them from another universe. You can basically remove any consequences to actions because death can be reversed, characters can be brought back, and the reset button can be hit. So basically, the multiverse is an excuse to cram as many legacy characters on screen at once in order to nostalgia bait fans to come back to the cinema because they may have given up on the franchise a few years ago. Well, I wanted to look at this article. It's from cosmicbook.news, and of course, I will include the link to the article below. It says, Doctor Doom arrives in Avengers Doomsday synopsis. A new synopsis for Avengers Doomsday has been released, giving fans a clearer look at what's coming in Marvel's next big crossover. The description teases the arrival of Doctor Doom in the MCU, played by Robert Downey Jr., who is set to unleash a crisis across the multiverse. And just as an aside, we did get a kind of a blink and you'll miss it cameo of Doctor Doom in a post-credit scene at the end of Fantastic Four First Steps, though we didn't actually see his face. So it says, Doctor Doom has officially arrived on the Marvel Cinematic Universe stage. This villain, a master of cutting-edge science and powerful magic, will unleash a cascading crisis across the multiverse. Marvel's most iconic character, Robert Downey Jr., also returns as Doctor Doom. It also says the new synopsis comes out of a Disney and Marvel promotion out of China, which includes a first look at art of Robert Downey Jr.'s Doctor Doom. And that's the image of Doom there, apparently. Pretty much what we expected, and it is considered to be comic book accurate, so it's got that going for it. As is what it means for the MCU. The repeated focus on Downey Jr.'s Doctor Doom reinforces reports that Marvel is leaning heavily on his return to spark renewed interest after a string of shaky projects. It does feel like a bit of a Hail Mary pass, to be honest, bringing him back in the hopes that it's just going to create some magic and everybody's going to be drawn to this movie. I don't think it's going to work. I think that's the problem. They're hoping that the return of Robert Downey Jr. will be sufficient to generate interest. And look, to a certain degree, I'd imagine it will. I don't think this film will be a critical disaster or anything, but it is going to have a very hard time making its money back. For starters, the box office has been very hit and miss for the MCU in recent years. It's not like how things were in Phase 3. Avengers Endgame made over $2.7 billion. Can we really see Doomsday making the same kind of money? And also, given the ridiculous amount of money that Robert Downey Jr. was paid, and all of the returning legacy actors as well, the budget for Doomsday will be so massive, I can't see it recouping its costs. I mean, as if member berries are going to be enough to make this film profitable, because I think that's all they have, member berries. And since when has that been enough for a movie? I mean, what else is there? The plot is just multiverse nonsense. It's going to be like portals and tears in reality galore in order to facilitate crossovers. That's basically it. And that's what they expect fans to part with their money for. And it's not like they had a coherent story to begin with. I mean, what we understand is that the script is still being worked on during filming, which is to say the script was not finished when they started principal photography. So it's like the thinking was, we've got a general idea of what the plot should be. So just film a bunch of action scenes, generic action scenes that you could put into any movie, do some fights, and then bring in the actors to act against green screens on their own. And then they can basically composite the actors together into one scene. They'll figure out the script as they go. They can get the actors to do some generic reaction shots, generic enough one-liners and jokes and stuff, and then splice the shots together in editing. That feels like how the movie's being built. And This corresponds a lot with what Alan Cumming spoke about regarding his experience on the set of Avengers Doomsday. This article is from comicbookmovie.com. I don't know who I was acting with half the time. Alan Cumming opens up on Avengers Doomsday challenges. He says, I did the entire film in isolation. Lots of green screen, face replacement, he told Gold Derby. They even gave characters fake names. I don't know who I was acting with half the time. Now, as Robert Meyer Burnett pointed out in his recent video, there's a kind of franchise fatigue setting in with respect to Hollywood now. It's not just a superhero fatigue, it feels more like a franchise fatigue. And you can definitely see that with respect to the financial underperformance of the box office for several big franchise movies during the summer. Marvel built not just the Marvel Cinematic Universe as a franchise, but as a very elaborate film and television universe. It was a media empire in itself. Others have tried to emulate its model with, I think it's fair to say, mixed results. But it's a model that reached its logical conclusion in 2019 with the snapping of Tony Stark's fingers. And that's where it should have ended. Because I think along the way, what was forgotten was that the MCU was a story. It was a story that was told over 3 phases, and it came to an end. Since then, there's been no central unifying story for the franchise, and therefore it feels like no reason for it to continue. As I've said before, the Infinity Saga, the overarching Thanos story arc that developed across those first 3 phases, and indeed 10 years, which took a long time to build up to, that really was the MCU. That was the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And when that story was told, when Thanos was defeated, the MCU lost a significant part of its identity. The Doctor Doom story arc, I think, is just too little too late and largely lacks the intrigue and excitement of Thanos. But those are my thoughts on this one. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I'm going to wrap up the video there, guys. Thank you very much for watching. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel and remember to hit the notification bell to be notified of future updates as well. Hit that like button, share this video out there, and also you can follow me over on X at Dave Cullen Show. Take care, guys, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.